raises the hair on your neck. It's the hometown pride for Gridiron Gladiators. This is indoor football. This is your Salina Liberty.
We have waited all week, but now it's Liberty time. It's the Coach Heron O'Neal Show, brought to you from AJ's Sports Bar and Grill in the Alley by St. John's Military School Historical Museum and Brooks Liquor. You can watch the Coach O Show live at salinapost.com. Now ready to talk everything Liberty football, here's Devin, Hanney, and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Welcome into our favorite time of the week. It is time for the Coach Heron O'Neal Show. Congratulations on making it through your Monday, and it's a championship Monday here at AJ's in the Alley. Of course, we'll have the big game on later with KU playing North Carolina. We'll get Coach Heron O'Neal's thoughts on that later on as we first talk Liberty football with the coach. And, boy, I tell you what, Coach, it was a big weekend at Tony's Pizza Event Center for your guys. You get the non-league contest out of the way with the Queen City Asylum and a chance for each one of these teams. We talked about it a little bit last week for everybody to step out of Champions Indoor Football, take on an opponent basically of their choosing and whatever you can find that works out. And that was your chance to do that Saturday night.
Yeah, and I'm definitely happy to have the guys that hadn't played as much get their opportunity. It was some guys that were out the game before that we got a chance to take a look at. Very excited with what we came out of there with. No major injuries or anything like that, but did get a chance to take a look at some guys at some different positions as well, which is always good. And because you could look at practice and some guys look great in practice, you put them in a game and it doesn't even look right. So to see who can do what in these different situations were key for us.
You and I talked in pregame as we got ready for the game on Saturday, and it was a little bit of a unique situation because usually you trim your roster down to 21 right before the game, and those are the guys that you can use. You didn't have that restriction since this was a non-league game. And also a chance for you, we talked about not having this as an exhibition or a preseason game, whatever you want to call it, before the real games in league start. We kind of turned that into a positive because you won the first two league games against Topeka and Omaha. Then you get a chance to come in game number 3 and kind of hit the reset button and see where some of these other guys might work out, where they flex to as a secondary or even a third option on your roster. And you were excited about that chance to do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the guy that you'll speak to a little bit later here, A-Love, we wanted to see him play quarterback. We wanted to see him go through his progressions and seeing what he can do in the red zone, seeing how he does his zone reads and things of that nature. Junior, Theron Allen, of seeing him actually playing some defensive back. That was cool to see, and then for him to actually get an interception, I think it was a flag or something on the play, but he did show that this is what we train for, this is what we practice for, to give those type guys opportunities. Corey Hurt is another guy that opened eyes. Casey Pierce is another one that opened eyes. So just to see these guys out there playing and doing the things that they're doing, sometimes at different positions, definitely helped us out in our evaluation process moving forward for the rest of the year.
You start this game out, first play of the game after Queen City won the coin toss. They deferred, and they gave you the football to start out with. And on a one-play drive, Tyree Adams hits Ed Smith on a 22-yard touchdown pass. It was just one play to open the game. You get the extra point from Michael Pursley, and right out of the gates, you're up 7-0. So a start like that obviously eases things a little bit more. But then you just kept going. A couple of touchdowns there by Trey Griffin in the first quarter, and at the end of one, you're up 21-0. You're 3 for 3 on your drives for touchdowns. You're 3 for 3 on extra points. Things are going really well.
Definitely. I'm loving the way that Trey has played for us. As a kid that played at Hutch, got his opportunity to come and play for us, and he's cashing in. I mean, for his rushing touchdowns, he's in the top 5 in the league as far as rushing touchdowns. Just to see him with the football in his hands, he's so explosive. He can do it not only just running it, but he can catch the football as well and make moves in that open field, and he plays well for us on special teams as well.
Yeah.
So very excited with him getting the start that he's doing. Also, our offensive line, getting them some opportunities to show some different plays besides just one or two different plays that we usually do. But to see them perform the way they perform, making adjustments throughout the game was pretty cool to see that as well. But the show for me was the defensive line. Shaq Bradford is doing his thing. I mean, he's coming into his own. He's starting to play like that defensive player of the year from Kansas Wesleyan a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he's starting to become dominant. Another blocked extra point again there, and a lot of pressure. He got a safety, a sack there in the end zone to get that safety. So just seeing different guys that we're used to making plays, and I think that the sky's the limit for the potential of this football team. If we could stay together, stay healthy, and continue to work to that common goal to win a championship, I think we're well on our way.
A couple of things that you went through there I want to go back and kind of talk about. Let's start with Trey Griffin. We talked about him and an opportunity. He wanted to be on a team. He wanted to come here. He thought it was an opportunity to back up Tracy Brooks, the league MVP from a year ago. We always know it's a chance, but we didn't know we'd lose Tracy's second, third carry of the year. Now that opportunity is even much more glaring. It could even be blinding being on a team that is in the run for a championship, has been in the championship game the last 2 seasons. Have you had conversations with Trey about the opportunity that he has now?
Trey doesn't talk much. So basically, like he always say, just tell me what I'm doing wrong and I'll fix it. He's one of those type guys that you don't need to pump him up. You don't need to give him any rah-rah. He's going to do exactly what the plays say do and then some. I have not seen anybody tackle him one-on-one this whole year.
Right,
so when you have that type of ability to go along with the heart that it takes to cut back sometime in the middle with these big old animals that are being inside there, it's good to see that he's taken full advantage of his opportunity. He's become a mainstay, and he will become a household name before the end of this season.
You talked about Shaq Bradford on defense. Another guy that played along well with him was Tron Folson. Tron kind of turned the early second quarter into his own little show there, didn't he? Yeah. Had an interception and then also was in on a quarterback sack as well.
Well, the guys, Tron talks a lot, so the guys kind of was giving him a hard time because he dropped 2 picks. He says it's 2. I thought it was 3, but who's counting? He did get that pick, and he returned it for some good yardage, but then when he took the 2-point and cribbed that one, you can't really talk mess to him anymore. He's not a rookie anymore.
Yeah.
He's making plays that, what we brought him in here to do. He's starting to figure it out. He's starting to figure out the angles. He's starting to figure out what teams are trying to do against him, and he's a very a great athlete, but he's very intelligent as well. He does a lot of film study. He pays attention to his keys, and when he goes, he goes. And like we told him, if you make a mistake, make it 100 miles per hour, and he doesn't make many mistakes, but he is always coming 100 miles an hour.
This was a game in the defensive secondary. You played without Dontre Matthews, also without Dwayne Autry, but you had a guy come back that you're familiar with in Tyrell Green. How nice was it to have Tyrell back and knowing that you had a veteran that is used to you and you're used to him back there in the secondary holding down one of the corner spots opposite K-Hop to start this game?
It was huge. When we started our search, once we heard everything that was going on, the first name that came up was Tyrell Green.
Yeah.
For the simple fact, he played for me in Dodge. I think he led the league in interceptions that year. And then he came here in 2018, and I think he was second on the team in interceptions after missing 5 games, and then he signed a CFL contract with Saskatchewan. So from there, we've always stayed in contact and everything, and when the opportunity came up, it was a no-brainer to get a guy like that, like you said, already understands the defense. He knows my coaching style. The thing he didn't know is the different players that he was playing with and things of that nature, which he's still learning. But his skill set is so elite. I think he'll get another opportunity to play at that next level, finishing the season with us this year. He's a guy that is very intelligent, very athletic. His hips are super fluent, and he will come up and support his flank and be physical. So to get him was huge, and I think it was the turning point in this game that we just played, and I think it's going to be the turning point, especially for these next 2 games.
We talk about moving pieces, especially with this game. You had a wide receiver that joined the team in his first action in the first half. He got a touchdown as well, and that's Ivory Bundy.
Ivory's a guy that, lives locally here. He's a guy that always wanted an opportunity. We gave him his opportunity, and he cashed in. He caught 2 or 3 passes. He did catch a touchdown. And to do it in front of his family, his kids, it was just great to see a success story like that.
Yeah.
And he's a very humble kid. He works his butt off. And Coach Martinez had to, get him as well as a couple other. The day before the game, he's in there making sure he's getting that extra work with Coach Martinez, and it paid off. He's earned my trust. Whenever he's called on, I do have supreme confidence that he's going to do exactly what the plays say do, and he's going to give it 100%. So just to have a guy that locally lives right here that is willing to come and play for us, it speaks mountains of how the image of the Salina Liberty was when I first got here to what it is now.
Halftime might have been a little chaotic for you, wasn't it? I mean, because there are a lot of moving pieces. I know you told Brian on the field at halftime when we had the break that Tyree was done, and then we knew there would be other changes around that because it's the domino effect, right? But we knew that there were going to be a lot of changes anyway. What was halftime like in the locker room, just kind of getting everybody to get ready to start in the right spots?
Well, the thing that I will say, Coach Martinez and I sat down that week and kind of already knew, barring injury, where everybody was going to play, how much they were going to play, and things of that nature. So it wasn't as chaotic as I thought it was going to be because we didn't really get anybody hurt. So basically our plan, Coach Martinez's plan, worked out perfectly because we knew exactly what we were going to do. For instance, Corey Williams was a guy that was going to play 3 quarters at defensive back. He played masterfully. He had a lot of big hits. He had an interception. But then we knew he was going to play receiver in the 4th quarter. And we knew Junior was going to flip over and play defensive back in his stead. What we didn't know is we were going to take K-Hop out of the game in the 4th quarter, and Corey had to play both ways. To just see him play the way he played both ways and have his, he was in shape, he wasn't tired, and then play every special team. Was another player that I was extremely impressed with and how he conducted himself, and he's a true pro.
We'll talk more about the second half. Liberty up 35-0 at halftime, and we leave it off for our first break. We are at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. Of course, they will have the big game on tonight. KU and North Carolina also have a lot of these products like you see in front of us from Crown Distributors, Coors Light, Coors Original, and a lot of other great products as well, and you can get them all right here at AJ's in the Alley. When we come back on the Coach Heron O'Neal Show, we'll talk more about the second half and also look forward to the Billings game coming up this weekend. It's right here on Salina Post and also on KINA.
In a college basketball season that started over 5 months ago, it all comes down to one.
I was wondering when they was going to put that up there. It seemed like they just started.
Yeah, I think they did.
For the NCAA basketball tournament, the Final Four comes to a conclusion with 2 Blue Bloods going at it Monday night. Pregame starts at 6:30. Tip-off at 8:20. It's KU and North Carolina right here Monday night on KINA.
PRP, or platelet-rich plasma injection therapy, has received quite a bit of attention since its use by many professional athletes. Professional football players like Peyton Manning and Jamal Charles have used PRP therapy for sports injuries and to avoid surgery. But you don't have to be a world-class athlete with millions of dollars for this cutting-edge therapy. PRP is available to you in the Salina Pain Clinic. Call the doctors for a consultation and see if this treatment is right for you. See them at 200 South 5th in the Salina Surgical Arts Center. Spring is here, and that means more time outdoors with your favorite beverages from Salina Wholesale Liquor. More time outside means more barbecues and time on the go. Perfect time to pack our portable wines and ready-to-go cocktails. We also have a great selection of new seltzers and a huge selection of wine and whiskey. Spring in and save big now at all 3 locations. In Salina at Sam's Club, off 9th Street behind Cadova, and on the corner of Iron and Ohio. We have better prices, we're close and quicker. Salina Wholesale Liquor.
Think about the word precision. Precision represents quality and the fact of being exact and accurate. Isn't that what you want when it comes to electrical? Precision Electrical Contractors in Salina brings exact and accurate quality to electrical jobs in Central Kansas since 2003. Precision Electric's focus on quality and performance, combined with their experience and dedication, creates a winning set of finished products which saves their customers money. Don't rely on so-so electrical. Visit the team at Precision Electrical Contractors. Online at pecsalina.com.
It's spring cleaning time, and that means you should add one more little thing to your to-do list. Call Comfort Heating and Air for an HVAC clean and check. Our technicians will make sure your system is in tip-top shape, so when warm weather arrives, your AC will be ready. That means cleaning your coils, checking Freon levels, double-checking all electrical connections for safety, even changing your filters. With locations in Salina and Clay Center, we are the company that cares. Comfort Heating and Air.
You can rely on the company that cares. We're Comfort Heating and Air.
You pull up to a stoplight and notice a great-looking truck across the intersection. Odds are that truck was customized by the professionals at K4 Trailer Sales and Truck Accessories in Salina. K4 has it all. Suspension and lift kits, a variety of bed covers, power step boards, floor mats, and WeatherTech products, LED lighting, wheels, and tires. And if you're towing, K4 has any type of hitching equipment, and we will also install. K4 Trailer Sales and Truck Accessories on West State Street in Salina and K4trailersales.com.
And now back to the Coach O Show with Devin Hanney and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Back here at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. Come on out and join us for the Coach O Show. It happens every Monday from 5:30 to 6:30, except for a week from today. The travel with the trip to Billings and just getting back here, settling in, and also preparing for the next opponent here at Tony's Pizza Event Center, the Sioux City Bandits, taking up time next week. So you and I got together. We said, let's move on. Let's concentrate on the Bandits game. Then we'll talk more about that the following. So 2 weeks from today will be the next Coach O Show here at AJ's in the Alley. So let's put a cap on this game here that you had against Queen City. You're up 35-0 at halftime. We talked about kind of the moving parts, and our guest on our player profile here tonight is going to be Anthony Love. He's listed as a wide receiver on your roster. He's the bigger guy that you've been craving, 6'4", 6'5" on the roster. And we've seen him make some pretty good catches this year. He got dinged up early on in the Topeka game. He came back for the game against Queen City. Wide receiver in the first half, quarterback in the second half. What do you think of his performance?
I thought he did a great job, and he was my offensive player of the game. Not gaudy stats or anything like that, but how efficient he was playing receiver, his blocking. I mean, he was driving guys 10 yards down the field. He went up and high-pointed that one ball, and he said, I told you, Coach, this is what I do. So just to see him back out there healthy, ready to go, able to do what he needed to do at receiver, we were extremely excited about. To me, the gravy on the mashed potatoes, so to say, is him playing quarterback. Yeah. Giving him the opportunity to do that, here and there in practice, but to get some live bullets thrown at him and for him to actually throw a pro touchdown to me, is amazing on his intellect, as well as, that dog that he has inside him. Because, he's always laughing, he's always cheerful, but he does have that scrappy dog inside of him to let people know that I'm here to play football, I'm trying to play at this next level, and he played like that.
We'll get to know more about Anthony Love when we talk to him, and coming up in the next segment. Special teams. I know that was one of your focuses coming into this game. You wanted to do better not only on kick returns but also kickoff coverage, and that's probably something that is still here in the side of your mind in the front corner that still needs to be worked on, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I know for a fact we practice it. We have not executed the way we needed to execute, especially on kick returns. On that long kickoff return that they had against us, we had a guy or two that were out of their lanes and it left a big hole there, which happens from time to time, because pretty much all year our kickoff team has been pretty solid. But kickoff return team is something that I definitely took focus to. Started it a little bit last week, but a lot this week. So you'll see some different things of what we'll do kickoff return-wise, and understanding a little bit of what we're trying to get accomplished is explosive plays. We have explosive players back there to get returns. We just need to do a better job blocking up front for them and sustaining that block for 4 seconds and giving our returners opportunities to make big plays.
I know there's a lot of moving parts. You're third holder in as many games for the Liberty, but some missed kicks and scoring opportunities too. That concern you at all? We felt pretty good about the kicking game after last week, and now in the third game, things didn't go that great. What's your thoughts there?
Well, it's 2 different kickers and 3 different holders.
Yeah.
So you're going to have some bad play there, not as consistent as I like. The thing I know that Michael Pursley is going to continue to work hard. He comes to practice, at least once a week. We work on our special teams. He works on his kickoffs. Yeah, we did not do what we needed to do extra point-wise, but he's definitely doing what we need to do on kickoff and placing those footballs where he's placing them. He's gotten 100% better than what he was in 2018 when we first started off. And I know Mike is going to continue to work with the snap, the holders, and making sure that we get this remedied and moving forward and continue to play at a high level.
I want you to elaborate on that a little bit, because we have seen him have some kicks that are tough to handle for the opponent. And I know it's not an exciting play for the fans, but when the ball goes down the hash mark and all of a sudden it puts its blinker on and takes a left turn and it hits the wall at the 7-yard line and there's no return, that's the best case scenario. I mean, that is no return is the way to go.
Absolutely, and optimally, that's what we want every single time we squib kick. So what he's been working on, what he's worked on at practice, he's practiced his craft, he's mastering his craft, and he's a perfectionist. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that he wants it a certain way, he needs this, and he'll be the first one to tell you, hey, that's my fault, coach, because he's one of those guys that he's a leader. He's a football player, but he's also a leader, and he'll take it on the chin for his guys around him. But I guarantee you, we're going to continue to work on it. We continue to get better, and we got to get more consistent in that kicking game, and he knows that as well.
A couple of exciting plays there towards the end of the game. We saw Tron Folson intercept an attempt on a 2-point conversion, then run it back for 2 points for the Liberty. I think we saw a little bit of his speed on that play. He had a wide receiver trying to chase him down, and he moved distance on his way down the field.
Don't tell him that. Tron is going to really lose his gourd once he hears this show, and he's going to really be talking because, like I said, that's a guy that will talk. But like I always say, he backs it up.
Yeah.
And he was given a hard time for the first 2 games where it was a pick or 2 or 3. Who's counting that he said he didn't drop, he did drop, and all this other stuff. But to get the opportunity in this game and put the effort forward to execute and actually come down with the football, and then the one, like you said, for that 2-point conversion, he did show that speed that he has, and I'm just glad he's on our side. I definitely say that. He's fun to be around. His attitude is that youthfulness. You know, to have somebody like that is because we're a little bit older in the defensive backs, and we got some older guys on defense. He's bringing that what you're playing football for. He's one of those type guys that he's a guy that's going to get better and better and better as many games as he plays.
You might not like me for this one either, but Travis Taylor got a touchdown. I think we got to talk about that, right? I'm sure you've heard a lot about Taylor getting to score a touchdown in the rushing game.
Well, Travis is a guy that these past 3 years, basically ever since I've been in Salina, he was like, Coach, I'll sign back only if I get a football carry. So for the last 3 years, I didn't get him a carry. So when we talked on, I think it was Thursday or Friday, and he was like, well, what time we got to be at the stadium and this, and this. He was like, and by the way, you still have not gotten me any carries, this, and this. And I was like, you're going to start the second half at running back, and we're going to get those 2 carries out the way. So we got those 2 carries. He did pretty good on that. And then we pulled him out. And then later in that third quarter or early fourth, he comes to me and he says, Coach, time to put the big guy in. Let me, I need one more. And he came in and he did his thing. And Coach called the perfect play for him. He executed it well. And he ran over probably about 2 guys. And I'm not going to hear the end of that one either because that's how Travis is as well. So it's just good that these guys are understanding their role and willing to jump out there in a different role that we haven't seen before. So definitely happy about that.
Coach Martinez is having a confession over here. He said he called the play and didn't even know Travis was in the game at that point. So I feel like we're airing out all kinds of things here.
Yes. Hey, that's what happens when you play and things are not as scripted as we like them to be.
Yeah.
And when Travis said just put me back in, he didn't know. We just threw him up in there, and Coach called the perfect play for that. And he got us up in there, and I'm so happy for him.
You think maybe him and Martinez had something worked out? Maybe Travis came in, he looked up at the stands and went.
Yeah, I think they got some type of signal that I don't even know about. That how did he know to go in at that particular moment? And then magically Coach Martinez found the toss to run there. So I don't know. Something going on right there.
Oh, that's funny. You get the victory here. You move to 3-0 on the season, 50-18. You're one of 2 undefeated teams now in Champions Indoor Football. You'll see the other one here in a couple of weeks back at home on April 16th with the Sioux City Bandits. Until then, though, you have a Sunday game in Billings, Montana against a team that has been resurrected and a team that you used to lead in the Billings Outlaws. And the Outlaws are a team that they'll propose some challenges, won't they? They played Sioux City close last weekend, and it's a team that we expect to be a challenging opponent.
Absolutely. I'm sad I won't be able to be at that game, but it's good to, have football back in Billings. Looking forward to the challenge of going against a great football team that they've assembled up there. Coach Smith, Russ, as the owner up there, did a great job of resurrecting that team. That city needs the Billings Outlaws, and I'm just so happy that they are back. Those fans, because I live there in the offseason, and everywhere I go, when are the Outlaws coming back? When are the Outlaws coming back? So for them to bring that Outlaw team back, I'm super excited for them. I'm excited for those fans to get to enjoy some good football with a great ownership group, a great coaching staff. Coach Johnson, Theo Johnson used to be here. He's their defensive coordinator. So I'm hating I'm going to miss it, not going to be able to do it, but I will be following from afar.
Now, from what I understand, it's not only the Outlaw name, it is the same logo, almost the same color scheme to a T. I mean, it is the true resurrection of a program that was very successful in that area, right?
Yeah, and they practice in exactly where we were practicing at. The office are exactly where we
Is that the same arena that you rode a tornado out in?
Yes, same arena. So, yes, it's definitely good to have everything officially back for the Billings Outlaws. Super excited for the city. I can't wait to see the turnout. I know it's going to be crazy as far as all the people that's going to be there. And they have a great football team to follow. They got some great players, McCullum, Claude, Lightenhorse. Those guys are great players. Just to see them, Big Jackson plays offensive line for them. And then we have a couple players that played for us that's there. Brashawn Stewart, he plays for them as well. So just to have guys like that have played here and now there, it's just good to see football back in Billings, and hope many, many good years of success for them.
This is a stretch of games now where nothing is going to be easy, right? And I'm not saying anything has been easy so far, but you have Billings on the road on Sunday, turn around on a short week. Not only do you have the travel back, but you also have a short week getting ready for Sioux City here at Tony's Pizza Event Center on April 16th. Then your next opponent after a bye week is Rapid City. They've looked impressive in their early outing so far. Then you get Billings back here in the Tony's Pizza Event Center again. So this is a stretch of games right here. It's we're going to find out the men and the boys here in the CIF, aren't we?
Absolutely, and I feel that, with how this is all going to work out, the thing that I love about this team is the perseverance in which we play with, the resolve in which we play with, which is different from before. When tough things happen, we're not sitting here pointing the finger, doing all this other stuff. We're trying to find solutions and not be part of the problem. We're part of the solution. So, yes, we're going to play in some great football teams that's going against us, but we're a great football team too. So I'm looking to take on any and all challenges, and I know our guys will be ready to go, and just want that support from Salina to continue to grow in those stands. We're growing in the community and things of that nature. So I can't wait for this season to really get kicked off here in these next 4 games.
I've already got your thoughts on our next guest. The player profile tonight is Anthony Love, so I need a 60-second expose on how your bracket turned out, and also your thoughts on the game tonight with Duke and also, with KU and also North Carolina.
Well, I think the way it worked out is Coach Martinez won the office pool. I think I did finish second to him, and I don't know, Coach Flax may have something different to say about this going forward, but it was cool. I mean, that Kentucky thing killed me.
Yes.
And I thought it killed Coach Martinez as well, but when you get Kansas and Duke in the Final Four, and those count for like 50 to 100 points, I think just off of that, I think he won it. So it didn't go as well as I wanted to, but I am picking Kansas tonight to win, and it's not just because I'm in Kansas. I just think they're the better basketball team. They got the better coach, in my opinion, and those players that they got I think they got 3 or 4 NBA ball players there. So I'm going with Kansas.
What's the final score?
I'll say Kansas by 8.
Okay. All right. I got +8 for KU. Coach O'Neal, I'll keep track of all this. Well, it's been a good week. Another victory for the Salina Liberty, 50-18 over the Queen City Asylum. Now it's time to get to work in a long road trip, the longest road trip of the season, as the Liberty visit the Billings Outlaws. That's coming up on Sunday. You can hear it right here on KINA with a pregame at 5:30 and kickoff at 6 o'clock in Billings. We will have it all for you here on Sunday. Coach, thanks for your time. Anthony Love coming up next. He should be a good one, right?
Yes, he will be.
It's coming up after the top of the hour. News next here on KINA. Back with more Coach O Show after that here on Salina Post and also KINA Radio.
Ukrainian troops say it looks like a horror movie. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Pentagon says it will conduct an investigation into reports of civilians murdered in the suburbs of Kyiv.
Images of civilian bodies scattered in the streets of Bucha, northwest of the capital. Signs of torture, rape, bound hands, shot at close range, bodies burned. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited the horrific scene there, calling it a genocide.
These are war crimes, and they will be recognized by the world as genocide. We know of thousands of people killed and tortured, with severed limbs, raped women, murdered children. This is a genocide.
Russia denied the accusations, saying it was a provocation and a fake attack. But Ukrainian officials say more than 400 bodies of civilians were found.
Fox's Alex Hogan in Lviv. This morning, President Biden again called Russian President Vladimir Putin a war criminal.
This guy is brutal, and what's happening in Bucha is outrageous, and everyone's seen it.
The president's calling for a war crimes trial against Putin and for additional sanctions. In the Senate, a majority of the U.S. Senate has backed advancing the Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson to the full Senate for the voting. The voting, though, is continuing. Earlier, Alaska Republican Lisa Murkowski said that she will vote to confirm Judge Brown Jackson's nomination to the Supreme Court. It's a health policy, not an immigration policy. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki talking about Title 42, which allowed the U.S. to expel migrants during the pandemic.
We are increasing our resources, surging personnel and resources to the border, improving border processing.
The CDC announced last week that the policy would end next month. The Senate has reached an agreement on a $10 billion COVID relief package, but it dropped all funding to help other nations deal with the pandemic. America's listening to Fox News.
Novo Platform Inc. is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services provided by Middlesex Federal Savings, FA, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
You're making something new with your business. To support you, Novo built a new kind of business checking. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, Novo is customized to your business to save you time and free up cash flow. Sign up for your free business checking account right now. Plus, our listeners get access to over $5,000 in perks and discounts at novo.co/today. novo.co/today.
There are so many words to describe Panera's new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. The chicken, juicy, succulent, seared. The brioche roll, buttery and toasty. The Parmesan crisps, crunchy, tangy. The secret aioli, creamy and rich. All those words, but when you have a bite, you might just be left speechless. Panera's new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. Enjoy a free drink with purchase of a new Chef's Chicken Sandwich. Restrictions apply. For details, visit panerabread.com/online code.
Opening statements in West Virginia in the state's lawsuit against several drug makers accused in the opioid crisis.
West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrissey is suing Janssen, Teva, Allergan, and their family of companies, accusing them of engaging in strategic campaigns to deceive prescribers, which the suit alleges led to opioids being overprescribed for common pain and fueled substance abuse. West Virginia leads the nation in drug overdose deaths. The trial's expected to last up to 2 months. The state previously reached settlements with drug makers, Endo Health Solutions, McKesson, Cardinal Health, and Amerisource Bergen. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Maryland Governor Larry Hogan has approved a new congressional map with more compact districts after the previous one was struck down by a judge. New allegations of financial malpractice against an NFL team already under fire.
The Athletic, the first to report that Jason Friedman, a former employee of the Washington Commanders for 24 years, testified before the House Oversight Committee. Friedman's testimony claiming financial malfeasance by the Commanders is being linked to multiple reports over the weekend, claiming that the organization has held 2 separate sets of books, one for reporting to the NFL and another behind the scenes. The Commanders also coming under accusations of not sharing ticket revenue with visiting teams per league rules. Friedman previously supplied a letter to the Oversight Committee corroborating the sexual misconduct allegations made by former team employee Tiffany Johnston against team owner Dan Snyder. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
It didn't get good reviews, but the Marvel adaptation Morbius got enough moviegoers to buy tickets that it was the top movie at the box office. The movie, starring Jared Leto, was a biochemist that transforms into a vampire, made its debut with $39.1 million to capture the top spot. Last week's top movie, The Lost City, fell to second with $14.8 million in its second week, and The Batman was third with just under $11 million in ticket sales. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
And now here's Devin Hanney with your Liberty Player Profile, brought to you by AJ's in the Alley, St. John's Military School Historical Museum, and Brooks Liquor.
Back here at AJ's in the Alley, we're in downtown Salina as we go through the Coach Heron O'Neal show. Devin Hanney, along with my guest, Anthony Love. I was going to call you a wide receiver before the game on Saturday. Now you're just a Liberty player, right? You're going to fill all the spots. But it's our chance to get to sit down and know Anthony Love from Lawton, Oklahoma. So I want to, before we talk about bouncing back and forth and doing the receiver and the quarterback and things like that you did in the game on Saturday, tell me about Lawton, Oklahoma, where you grew up, an Oklahoma kid, and just your high school, what it was like and what you were able to do there in high school.
Okay, basically, so starting with high school, I played in New York, and I ran a wing T offense at QB. So that was fun. And then I moved to Oklahoma my junior year of high school, and they played a spread offense. So that was a lot more fun for me because I could throw the ball a lot more.
Two different worlds.
Yeah, basically. And then after that, I went to Oklahoma State and then played receiver, and then from there, it's just been that.
So you played a quarterback spot in a wing T and also a spread offense.
Yep.
What was that learning curve like? Because we're in the middle of Kansas here. We see a little bit of both. We see single wing T with a spread offense. What was that transition curve like where you're kind of back there playing the magician spot in a wing T and handing the ball off a lot, but in a spread you're throwing it most of the time?
I feel like the wing T part was more difficult because I've been trying to work on throwing the ball since I was playing quarterback.
Yeah.
But being under center and then seeing the read being right there was kind of more of the challenge of playing that offense. But then the spread was kind of easier for me just because, one, I like throwing the ball, and then two, I could see more and have more time back there.
So this deal with you playing quarterback on Saturday has some history to it that was found out about. We'll talk about that here in a little bit too. So you mentioned Oklahoma State. And the Cowboys come out after Anthony Love, and then they say, we want you to play wide receiver. What was your thought process then? You're switching spots, or did you play multiple spots when you were in high school?
No, I just played quarterback. But I knew somehow in college I wanted to be a receiver just because I wanted to play just with more physicality. And I feel like being at quarterback, you don't really get touched as much.
Okay, makes sense. You told me during the break quarterback and football wasn't your only love. You actually went through in the secondary in college and got some basketball action in as well. Tell me about your hoops career.
It started out with me playing at a junior college named Redlands.
Okay.
And I went out there for a tryout, made the team. They gave me a scholarship. And then we played that year. And then I got recruited by Southwestern Oklahoma State. And played that year, had a lot of fun. Just I knew football was going to be the sport I could go and excel in.
Why was that?
I don't know. I just feel like I played it my whole life, and I was more comfortable in there. And me being a 6'5" receiver, I feel like I could get a lot of exposure at that position.
So you go from a junior college back to a 4-year. You finish out your basketball career. Then what? What was the thought process like for you? Were you pursuing football? Were you pursuing basketball? What was your kind of career path then?
Really, it was just figuring out what I had the most love in and see what was going to be more successful for me. It was really what played the biggest part in my decision with that.
So one day, you're going to have to tell me what you were doing. If it's private, you don't have to, but you get a call, your phone rings, you look down, and it's this character named Jorge Martinez calling you. So you pick up the phone. What was that conversation like?
First, my heart dropped because I missed the phone call.
Oh, no.
And I tried to call him back. Called him like 3 times after, and then I called a coach I know out at Bethany. And he was like, okay, I'm going to get in contact with him, and then he called me back and basically just told me that they were looking for a receiver. They wanted to see some film on me and then go from there. So I sent him my film. He liked me and then got me out here the next day. And that's where it went from.
How did he find out about you?
The Bethany coach.
Okay. So you're on your way to Salina. You probably don't know anything about Salina at this point, do you? I mean, or did you have some KCAC friends that were playing? What were your ties to Bethany?
My roommate, or not my roommate, but the man who lived in my apartment with me, he was about to go to Bethany. And then I was in the transfer portal at first.
Okay.
And I was going to go to Bethany, but then my eligibility is messed up. So basically just took my career to the indoor area.
Okay. All right. So you're on your way to Salina. What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking about here? You've never played indoor football, right?
No.
And you're getting ready to do it for the first time. You're coming to meet Coach Martinez and Coach O'Neal. What was going on in your mind at that point in time?
Really just getting to Salina, because the drive wasn't far, but I don't like driving.
Yeah.
So it was only a 4.5 drive. But really just getting out here and making sure I knew what my goals were in the end.
Okay. So we go to Topeka, first game. First of all, what was Coach O's camp like? I've never really asked anybody that direct question, but I've heard some stories. What's your opinion on Coach O's camp?
It's intense, for sure. It's definitely intense. He's a serious man. He's about his business, and I respect that about him. But it's really just going out there and being who he brought you in here to be. And I feel like with Coach O'Neal, we can take my career a long ways.
So when you walk into camp, there's also some personality connections, right? I mean, you gravitate or people gravitate towards you, and you become immediate friends with them. Who were some of those guys on this team for you?
First of all, my man's Tyree Adams. He's my roommate now. He's just his character is kind of like mine. We're both kind of goofy.
Okay.
And he's loud, I'm loud. So I feel like me and him have a really good bond. And then Ed's my man's.
Okay.
And then I like Junior a lot. Junior's my man's too. And then Corey and McCoy. Really the whole team, to be honest. I like everybody out here.
I kind of get that vibe with this team. It's a chemistry thing, isn't it? I mean, from top to bottom, it just seems like everybody just has great chemistry.
Yeah, there's not really any, like, cliques or anything within the team, and that's the first time I've experienced that.
Yeah.
So that's really fun to be around.
So you talked about Junior Allen being one of your guys and one of your closer buddies. You had a chance to throw a touchdown pass to him. And it was on a 4th down play, if I remember right, or maybe it was a goal line play at the 1.
Yeah.
You're not running the ball there. The play call comes in, and it comes from Coach Martinez. You're passing out in the flat. So you had a chance to connect and get your first touchdown, but also connect with him. What was that moment like?
It was a good moment for us because I feel like me getting my first touchdown and it being with him definitely brought a lot of light to a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I enjoyed the moment a lot. I'm pretty sure he did too.
But when you first come in the game, you're handing the ball off a lot, right? There's a big lead, 35-0 at halftime. You come in, and I think your first, 7 or 8 plays were handoffs. And you got to be thinking, man, I got to throw the ball here at some point, don't you?
I'm really not thinking that way. I'm out there just whatever Coach Martinez calls, I want to run it and make sure we run it the right way. And just make sure it's getting executed, know what I'm doing, and making sure everybody else is doing what they need to do.
So let's go back here. I started to ask you, and then we got sidetracked. First game in Topeka, you come out, you're getting ready. I'm sure you're juiced to go in your first indoor game. And you get banged up a little bit in that game, don't you? I mean, you tweaked your knee, was it, or something? So you set out the game against Omaha, but then you were able to come back last week. What was that process like coming back? Thankfully, you weren't out that long, but you had to set out a pretty big game. What was that like for you?
It was kind of stressful just because, you want to go out there and play with your team, obviously. But just basically being there and just trying to bring positive vibes and energy to the team was basically my job of last week. And really just wanted to make sure nobody was falling apart no matter where the situation was taking us, honestly.
What are your goals with this team? What do you want to accomplish?
Everybody wants a ring, and I want a ring. I've never won a championship before, so I feel like if we get a championship this year, I can say I've done that finally.
Awesome. Good to meet you.
You too.
Anthony Love, wide receiver. Can we call you QB2 now? I mean, is that secure? QB2 for the Salina Liberty. Him and the guys will be in Billings, Montana for a game on Sunday. Looking forward to, you said you don't like to drive. Are you a good rider? I mean, you've been in college playing some football and some basketball. That's a long road trip, isn't it? It's the longest one of the season.
It's the longest one I've ever been on, so no, I'm not excited.
It's just something we have to do, right? We got to go and knock it out. Well, it's good to meet you, Anthony. We will talk more to you along the season, I'm sure. When we come back, GM Francis Flax will join us. He'll get us all informed on what's going on behind the curtain with Salina Liberty football. That's coming up next. We're at AJ's in the Alley here on KINA and also Salina Post.
Regional Orthopedic and Sports Medicine. Springtime is here and we're on the go. Visit Commercial Tire Center and get ready to roll. We're driving more and more and getting ready for springtime activities. From the smallest lawnmower tires to passenger tires, farm tires, and the largest truck tires. Call Commercial Tire for repairs that aren't tire related. Our automotive and diesel mechanics will fix it right the first time. Commercial Tire Centers, West Crawford and North 9th in Salina.
Commercial Tire Centers, where service is everything.
Show Construction does metal roofs. Show Construction offers residential, commercial, and ag metal roofing. Show offers designer ribbed steel, standing seam, screw-down panels, or stone-coated steel. Show Construction has financing available with low monthly payments. When it's time for a new metal roof, remember Show Construction. We'll travel to you and provide free estimates. Call 833-2007. That's 833-2007. Google us, showroofing.com, or find us on Facebook. Show Construction, the company your neighbors trust.
The Tony's Pizza Event Center is open for business and ready to welcome you. Whether you have a group of 12 or 1,200, our staff can help you plan the perfect event. With 8 meeting rooms and over 18,000 square feet, the Great Plains Manufacturing Convention Hall has plenty of room for your conference, trade show, wedding, or banquet, while our in-house food and beverage team can craft a menu to suit any event. Schedule your personalized tour today by calling Tony's Pizza Event Center or visit Tony'sPizzaEventCenter.com.
Oh my, what a fresh smell, and this entire place is so clean.
You would never guess our friend here is talking about a porta potty. Not just any porta potty. This is a portable bathroom from Salina Septic Service. Salina Septic Service is changing the game with higher standards of cleanliness and service. Porta potties don't have to be gross, so don't accept any less when you can have the best from Salina Septic Service. Now serving Hutch, McPherson, and the Gray Bend areas. St. John's Military School Historical Museum, located on the northeast corner of 9th and Otis, preserving the 131-year history of St. John's Military School and continuing its involvement within the Salina community. Visit us at www.sjmshm.org. Find us on Facebook or call the office today at 785-404-2333 for more information or to book an appointment. And now back to the Coach O Show with Devin Hanney and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Back here at AJ's in the Alley, we are wrapping up the Coach O Show. We go till 6:30. Then we will begin pregame along Westwood One Radio Network. We will have a full pregame show of almost 2 hours in anticipation for the national championship game that tips off at 8:20 between the Kansas Jayhawks and the North Carolina Tar Heels. General Manager Francis Flax of the Salina Liberty joins me now, and a chance for us here, Francis, to kind of go behind the scenes, Coach, and see exactly what's going on with the Salina Liberty. We've talked a lot between the lines and the walls and seen what's going on with players on the field and coaching and things like that through the first 3 games. But I wanted to talk to you because there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And you do your job really well because a lot of times people don't talk about what's going on behind the scenes because it's so well. And you do such a good job on it. But, man, all the banners, all the sponsorships, everything with Liberty this year, it just seems like things have shifted into another gear.
Well, we had a very, very productive sales season. I'll just put it like that. I know that we had over 30 brand new banners made this year. Now, that being said, of course, we lost some of those.
Sure.
We lost some of our sponsors, but to get 30 new ones is pretty impressive. And I believe that on our dasher pads, we had 15 new one of those printed also. So, and again, we lost a couple.
Yeah.
But that being said, as far as I know, we only had one banner that I failed to get up. and I heard about it after the game the other night.
Always, of course.
So we'll have that up for the next game.
So we're in a little bit of a stretch now. We keep talking about the game pending here where we're going into Montana to play Billings, an expansion team with the Outlaws. That game will be on Sunday. So it produces a short week for the coaching staff and for the guys to come back. But things get really, really busy at home at Tony's Pizza Event Center after that. There are 3 straight home games. There's a bye week stuck in there as well. But the next 3 games, Sioux City, Rapid City, and Billings the second time around, will all be here at Tony's Pizza Event Center in the middle of our season. That creates a busy time for you, but also a great opportunity for fans to come out and get familiar with this team and root them on.
You know, I haven't talked to the Tony's Pizza Event Center staff, we ought to have a 3-pack ticket
absolutely
for those 3 games.
Yeah.
Because, I just think that, first of all 3 of those games are going to be, wow, they're going to be high-intensity games. That's 3 outstanding teams that we're playing back-to-back-to-back at home after we come off of this trip to Billings this week. So, I just hope that I don't know how we can get it across. If every person would bring one person to the game that has never been to a game, this would be a total turnaround. And we get close, and we get close, and we get close, but we never get that threshold that I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's the ultimate time to use the buddy system, and tickets are cheap enough. I don't think that we talk about this a lot, and I have people asking me all the time, how much are tickets? How does that all work? There's no such thing as general seating. That went away 12 years ago at any arena in America. There's no such thing as general admission. So everybody has a seat. Everybody has a place to go unless you're in the VIP area. But kids' tickets start at $7. Adult tickets start at $12. Am I right? I mean, that is super cheap entertainment.
Yeah, we go other places, and for instance, I went to an arena last year, took 4 grandchildren, and it cost me a lot of money to get those kids in the game. And so we have the most affordable prices of any team going right now. Topeka was higher than we are. Omaha's higher than we are. So, and I don't know about Billings, obviously, but I'm going to find out. And, those things, you can't even go to, I don't know, I don't go to movies, but you can't go bowling. You can't go to the Sky for that kind of money.
Yeah, it's great entertainment, and we always say it's just that one game you need to come to, because then after that there's no discussion, right? You come to one game, you're going to come to the rest of them after that.
Yeah, and that is true. The one thing I do want to say, we have our core group of fans, and you can count on them regardless what the weather is, what the temperature is, what's going on, they're going to be there. Now, that being said, I despise having to have a game on Easter weekend. But it seems like we always get stuck with one.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a challenge, because there's a lot of churchgoers out there that come to our games. Now, maybe they'll go Sunday instead of Saturday night. I don't know. I hope they come to us Saturday night and go to church Sunday. And thank the Lord for a win. That's what
right.
I'm hoping
for. Yes.
But, I know we had fewer people this past game than we had the game against Omaha. But was it loud in there? It was loud.
Yeah.
And you got to hand it to our fans, man. The people that pay those $12, they're the best there are.
Yeah, and we talk about that atmosphere quite a bit, because our arena is one of the bigger arenas that we're going to go to. Some arenas, like when we went to Intrust and things like that to play Wichita, they would curtain off the upper deck, and that doesn't happen here. Easily a 3,000-person crowd doesn't look that big inside Tony's Pizza Event Center, but boy, when the volume gets cranked up in there, you definitely know there's a lot of people in there, and they're doing their jobs.
Yeah, you look at the presidential area, you look at the party pit, and then you look up there in the stands, and when it's third down, they create havoc in there, and they obviously love the Salina Liberty, and that's good. We just need more of them.
So here's the magic question. You and I talk about this once in a while off the air. You kind of have the whole scope of everything, right? Everybody kind of goes to Francis whenever they need something or whenever something doesn't go right, and you're kind of the peacekeeper amongst the whole group. What's the total climate right now of the Liberty? We talked about, increasing ticket sales a little bit. The schedule is a challenge. It always is. Saturday we had a game KU was playing in the Final Four. I'm sure that eliminated a lot of people.
Right.
You talk about Easter weekend being a challenge too. What's the overall scope of this team right now? We know that the league that we play in is a little bit of a challenge, but team-wise, how's the Liberty doing right now?
Well, our owners have done a wonderful job of, we're business first, the football second. And, we set a budget before the season starts. Each owner is accountable for raising money. I'm accountable for raising a lot of money. And our coaches are accountable for raising money. So from that aspect, we are close to our target this year to break even. We're close. Now, as far as the league goes, there's always turmoil in our league. I think there's turmoil in every league. But for some reason, I know one thing. We play, I think, the best schedule in CIF.
Yeah.
We don't shy away, and it seems like, you look at Billings twice, Omaha twice, Sioux City twice, and fortunately we have Topeka twice. That's a heck of a schedule.
Yeah.
And but getting back to your original question, the Liberty is solid. We're solid. Our owners are solid people. They give the resources necessary to get us by. Obviously, our coaching staff, to me, is the best from top to bottom. And would I like to get some of this lifted off my shoulders? Yes. But I've done it for a long time, and I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I've got thick skin. I've been in that basketball for 41 years, and I've had plenty of people bite at me, but that's okay. I can take that, and I take it in the right way. For instance, the gentleman hit me up Saturday night. Well, my banner isn't up there, and blah, blah, blah. But we smoothed it over, and he'll have a banner next time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put it right where everybody can see it, I'll tell you that.
That's it. Yeah, a little makeup space, right?
So we're the ownership is solid. The team is solid. I mean, we got good players.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything that would diminish anything about the organization. It's good.
You have to be proud, too, because you have a lot to do with just kind of the atmosphere of how this team is. And I look at this team, whether it's coaches and players or coaches and owners or owners and coaches, man, there is some chemistry going on here. Everybody, it just seems like, are friends, and they get along for the most part, which, times get tense every now and then during game time. But, man, once everybody walks off the field, it is handshakes and hugs, and it is there's a lot of love going on within this team.
Well, it is, and that I think starts from the top and just trickles on down. I mean, I try to promote that amongst the coaching staff particularly. We've had our differences. We still have our differences.
Sure.
But Coach involves me in a lot of these decisions that he needs an opinion. And, more than not, we can agree on the way to go to make us better. And so that being said, and then the type of players that he recruits, it's just you're either going to do it the right way or you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's how it is, and that's how we operate. I'll put our integrity against anybody in the league.
Yeah, and there's something to be said, too, for a culture of when you do things the right way, there's an expectation when you come here that that's what's going to happen.
That's
right?
exactly right, and I think Coach pretty well he pretty well conveys that to these players. I do it in orientation, and he carries it out throughout the year.
Francis Flax, he's the general manager of the Salina Liberty, and a dear friend of mine. And keep us up to date on that 3-pack. That's an intriguing thing. I actually thought about that a little bit when I was looking at the schedule. That'd be a good spot to have that. So if you get some details from the folks at Tony's Pizza Event Center, that'd be a good thing to do.
If Susan's listening, she might not be happy about that.
Well, we'll have to smooth it over with her. Maybe dinner for her as well. So Billings on the road Sunday, and then back home with a bye week stuck in there on the 23rd, I believe. It is Sioux City, Rapid City, and Billings. Number 2, all back here at Tony's Pizza Event Center. That's coming up in the month of April. It's a busy, busy time for the Salina Liberty and General Manager Francis Flax. I want to thank him for joining us. Don't forget, coming up here in about a minute, it is pregame on Westwood Radio 1 for KU and North Carolina. Tip-off comes your way at 8:20. Again, a reminder, no Coach Heron O'Neal show coming up next week on Monday. We will talk to you in Billings, Montana. Coming up, pregame 5:30 on Sunday. Kickoff at 6 o'clock. The Liberty and the Outlaws coming your way Sunday. Enjoy the national championship coming up here on KINA.